live
right now. We are live. How are you? Welcome to Bedtime Stories. I'm Sim Rose, and that is...
Hello, I'm Red. Working on my angling.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those nights.
Working on my angling. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Malachi.
And so it begins. That's Malachi, in case you didn't know.
Hello, everyone.
We need speaker view.
This is the most hair I've ever had on my face. It's heavy. Hair on your facial hair is heavy. Y'all got it good, girl.
Speaker view.
But this should keep your face warm, though. I didn't feel nothing. I was out there. I feel a goddamn thing. Oh, you got.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bedtime Stories.
Here we go. We ready to do this? We live?
If you haven't noticed, we have Ejoe here with us.
I guess we live. We live already?
Dancer extraordinaire, DJ, 12. Also known as 12.
You know how Ejoe is. If you don't, welcome to Bedtime Stories. We're going to get to know. We also have our wonderful guest here tonight, Serge, our brother Serge, wonderful producer, dancer, DJ extraordinaire.
Serge Negri, who when I try to put his name into different social medias, it won't accept it because I guess they think I'm trying to spell a different word.
I think it's not on the grid. I think it ain't even on the grid, that's why.
I'm gonna tell you, when I sent the flyer the first time, I was like, okay, let me send it. And I typed it real fast and sent it. And of course it came back Negra.
Negative.
Well, Twitch won't let me put in Serge's name no matter how I try. So I just have to always put Serge.
That's
a shame.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being here with us. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
So one of the things that we like to start with, always same question for everybody, is why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are and why you think we invited you to be here with us tonight?
My name is Ejoe and I'm famous. Period.
My name is Serge, and I'm freaky. I've been doing porn since high school. My first porno that I did was the basketball one, where you did the sweet loo. The sweet loo is when you put your hand over the butt cheek this way and you look under it. Look at what you're supposed to do. That's actually a real position. People are going to be talking about that.
I was picturing it. I could see it. So
you got to check out.
I've been down this road.
All right. So you want to start, Serge, or me? I do this very well. My name's Ejoe Wilson. I do a little dance thing. Changed the world a couple of years ago. I still got it. And every now and then I might get in the contest and show these young whippersnappers that they don't know what they're doing.
I knew you were gonna say whippersnappers. Your old ass.
Other than that, I'm a DJ as well. Ooh, excuse me. That was that chimichanga. I'm a DJ you smell. I'm a DJ as well as a comedian and a writer, firefighter, candlestick maker. I do it all.
You forgot cobbler.
I make a damn good peach cobbler. You need to come through.
That's so funny. I was going to tell them about the shoes you made.
I was going to say shoes, and then he said peach cobbler.
I put the peach cobbler in the cobbler. That's
in that peach cobbler.
Shit. It's called the shoe pie. Shoe pie.
Isn't shoe pie a thing?
It is now. Shit, we just cornered the market. I think. I think we could set it off. Set it off. I like that picture of Ray you got behind you. That's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. This was a birthday gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing some construction, so I got a bunch of my art just like hanging out in piles, waiting for them to repaint.
Okay, so introduce yourself. I'm done with the introductions. Introduce yourself, BGP.
Yeah, my name is Serge. I like to dance, and I bought some equipment, and I started making music, and so now like I get to call myself a producer,
Mm.
and I put these records out, and I was brought here to talk about my take on the world as it relates to house music and the quote unquote scene, and many will travel to hear you speak. And that's what happened. A lot of people traveled to hear me speak tonight. So I'm honored. Thank you for coming.
I came out of fortune cookies, so
It has to be true.
That shit is real.
Got to be. Because I also meant to say that most of my life is based on fortune cookies.
That's right. Chinese folks got it all figured out. That's why we keep buying that shit.
What's the last fortune cookie you got?
I have a couple here. You want me to break one open for you?
Go, let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it. I'm with that. I want to know.
I'll send you the rest of the cookie.
Save it for me. Save it for me.
Because
like Mama Bird would say, you need to ship that over here.
Because these shits, this and the honey.
Shout out to Mama Bird.
This shit don't go bad at all. You never tasted a bad fortune cookie, because them shits is made out of children's dreams. Right.
And those never go away.
Okay, your fortune says,
let your social instincts off the leash and talk to all and sundry. I guess that means for us right here, that's pretty good, to not be worried about what's happening, and let's just all get at it and be ourselves.
I'm trying to figure out this last word though. Sundry.
Sundry. I thought it said. Oh wait, maybe I misread.
It means sun dried.
What? I'm Googling it now.
Oh, are you?
I sure am. You need to know if it's a real word.
What if you Google the shit and they say you need to stay your ass out the fucking fortune?
Sundry means of various kinds, several.
Yeah, Chinese people know the language better than we do now.
Well, look at us learning.
Look at us. We learned something.
Okay. I didn't have to look it up, but I did.
Wait, how can you use it? Can I use it
in a sentence? Absolutely
not.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Red's white Christmas tree is very sundry.
No.
No, it would be like, I went to the store and bought lots of sundries.
Sundries? No, sundries isn't a thing. Sundry is a various. Okay, look.
What it sounds like.
Listen. Here's the.
Sounds like
I went to the
sounds
store.
like sun-dried edible underwear.
Stop it. Listen. I went to the store and bought lemon rinds and sundry herbs, various herbs.
Now
okay, but there is such a thing as sundries.
Okay. See, well, that's you. Now you're talking about something else. If you ask me sundries, I'd be like, they're little oranges.
All right, I want to know what was the first club that you ever went to, and how old were you?
Still got 2 more fortune cookies, by the way. So
all right, well,
we'll get back to that. What was the first club you ever went to, and how old were you?
Take it away, man.
Man, like first, it may have had to been like Club 88 back in North. I may have been 14, but like the first real club in the sense of what you guys are talking about, I would say like behind club doors. I went there on a Sunday. I had to be about 16.
You're that young? Boy, we've had life, honey.
Yeah, I went to behind club doors on a Sunday, and I was different after that. I couldn't go back to school, just be the same old person.
That should have changed you. It'll change. It changed so many people.
We're all the product of that fucking change.
They changed, like, you know, Wonder Woman spins in a circle. I
Yeah.
seen a bunch of dudes do that. It's turned into a whole nother. I was like, where you get that dress from?
Yeah, I had been hanging out with like the wrong crowd, and I started hanging out with these other
crowd.
guys. Yeah,
We gotta get back to that.
Hey.
yeah, we'll get back to that. And I was hanging out with these guys, and then they were like, "Yo, you know, we want to take you to this party on a Sunday," and they even had to ask my mom for permission. And
because the right crowd was dancing,
exactly,
the wrong crowd was out, stick up kid shit,
all of that, and
whatever.
I didn't even know that they were all really good dancers until I got to the club, and it was just like, wow, okay. Everybody had their own style. It was just, it was breathtaking. And Ray was making some curry chicken too.
That's great.
That's yummy.
I have to just tell you really quickly that I was at a house party, but there's a club in the house. And me and some friends, the right friends to me, were all in a room acting up, joking, just smoking, just doing the things we do at a good ass party. And somebody came and opened the door of where we were, stuck their head in, and said, "Oh, that's the wrong crowd." And we, to this day, we are hollering about that. Like, I'm down with the wrong crowd.
They just did not even know.
They don't have to know. It was great. They didn't leave.
I think the first party I went to, I mean, this is before I was actually partying. My mom brought me to a club called Melons, and like in the early 70s. And I know I had to be like around 8 or 9 years old, so I had to be around 78, maybe 77, 79. I mean, between 77 and 79. But it was called Melons. And it was funny because they were skating. When I got there, they were skating, and I wanted to skate because I used to skate a lot. But it wasn't the regular skating crowd, you know. Once they kicked their shoes off and transformed, the whole club turned into a Sylvester video. You know, the whole club turned into like a Sylvester video, and it was and you know, it's funny because when you're a kid and you see something like that, you think that it has some effect on you. But I wasn't affected at all by this shit. I was just like, oh, some dudes in dresses, you know, and everybody seems to be having fun. I just didn't understand why there was water. Okay, they had like one of these water fountains that had the, you know, so you could just go and put your cup under the water fountain, but it was apple juice. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, how did they make that happen? And how can we get this pipe going to my I was like, this apple juice. It's apple juice. I was like, I went and got some apple juice. And I was like, I could just keep getting apple juice. And my mom was like, yeah, I mean, don't bump anybody, but you can go over there. And I was like, they just give you apple juice all night here? It's like, this is crazy.
I'm in heaven.
All night apple juice. I ain't gonna tell you, you know, the back end of that story, but
that's how I became a cobbler.
A lot of apple juice, and a lot of spray painting afterwards. But it was an experience. My mom also took me to another club called Bonnie and Clyde's, and that was also an all girls club with a couple of dudes who look like, you know, like they play football in their off time, but they just really like this chiffon dress. And they're just like, oh, is this your boy? Hey, oh, little man. And I'm like, your voice is deeper than everybody that I know, but your dress is beautiful. You look great, you know. And they're like, oh, he's so well behaved and handsome. And I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna stay right here and drink my Shirley Temple. And you guys are not gonna mess with me because my mom knows everybody. And it was all good. Basically, this is where I first learned how to hustle as well. Because they were like, come here, little man. And then they yank you out your fucking seat. And next thing you know, you dance. He's like, twirl me. I'm like, I can't twirl you unless I get up on this chair and Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun. And there was my first club experience. You know, kids back in the days, you know, I mean, there were people that got into clubs when they were like 17 and 18 and stuff like that. That was unheard of to me. I mean, I didn't really get into the club until I was like 20, 21. But I always heard stories about people getting in the club at 16 and stuff like that. But, you know, there was also kids in my school with full grown beards at 16 as well. So they can get into the clubs. But as a kid, your first club experience was the roller skating rinks. That was the first time you heard loud music, lights, girls, you know, back in the days, skating, like I'll teach you how to skate. You want to learn how to skate backwards? I'll teach you how to skate backwards. That was a line. That was a big line. Like, hey, you want to learn how to skate back?
So yeah, I went to Empire as a teenager with my cousin.
Yeah, there you go. I was a skate key. So you always say that, hey, you want to learn how to skate backwards? The girls are like, I already know how to skate backwards. I was like, all right, fuck you then. I'll buy your cream soda.
Let me hold your hand. I won't let you fall.
Okay, you teach me how to skate backwards then. Shit.
Well, I've got a question for you guys, for both of you. When did you realize that you could dance?
I'm still working on that.
Oh, cut it out.
But you do know that you can do some things. So did you show up and it happened, or were you already doing it? Or, like, what happened there?
I was the person with the least rhythm most places that I went. And it wasn't until I got to about 8th and 9th grade, I got cast in some show, and it was a dance part, and I was supposed to be like the drug dealer / street dude, and I had like a dance solo. And at that point I had to learn how to dance. And you know, I could never do the dance moves that were current. I used to always figure them out about 6 months after they were like popular, so I would have to change it up and just make my own stuff. So that was my entry into it. But in terms of when I first got into the whole New York club scene and like seeing other people and like trying to be part of that scene, I would say it was a good 2 to 3 years before I felt like I had gotten somewhere. It was brutal because I knew I was bad and everybody else did too. But I was just that guy that kept on trying and kept working on developing something. I didn't really know what it was or what it was going to be, but I just knew that if I kept on going, eventually I would get it. And, you know, I don't know if there was any validation because, you know, it may have been like a show or when you get somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I want you to, you know, dance back up in my video or I would like to study with you or, you know, one of those invitations that lets you go, okay, well, maybe they see something that they like.
Well, I think that would be part of the beauty of our scene. You don't need any validation. You do what you do.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Something like, I feel like, you know, dance is like art, right? It's a form of expression. It's like, you know, there is a language that like speaks to the music that has been developed and that is something that can be taught. But I think that there's also a part of it that has to be the freedom of you expressing yourself. And that part can't ever be wrong.
Correct. But I feel like there's also a whole crew or community or sect of people that look at it as so much more than that. It's so much more serious to them. And it means so much more because it's everything to them. I came to New York to learn this. This is important to me. This is who I am. Like,
it's not just that. When you're young, growing up in the city, the dance is the first thing that you do before you want to be a rapper, or a singer, and all that stuff. Dance is just it was the first bit of social. You know, I came out dancing. My hand came out first, and the rest of it. My great grandmother, Coco Cora, she used to put me on her feet, and she used to hold me and make me, you know, that was the first I guess as far as I can remember, the first memory of the two-step or the first step that I learned. And then after that, I would be going to, I would be running home to catch Soul Train. 'Cause I watched Soul Train religiously. And I had the dance. By the time the show was over, I would have the dance. And then, by the next week, that dance was gone. And then there was another dance. And funny story, the way it comes full circle, that earlier this year, we lost Tyrone Proctor. And Tyrone Proctor, the inventor of whacking and a great Soul Train dancer, meeting him and him actually telling me that he liked the way I dance. I was like, it's not like you've seen me before. I mean, he's like, oh yeah, I've seen you dance before. I didn't know he was lying or not, but I know he wasn't lying because he was actually telling the truth. And another time I was teaching class and there was this lady with these striped socks and very, funky wear and stuff like that. Every time I did a floor move, she was doing her own, her own thing. She's doing a lot of locking. And I'm like, well, how come every time I go to the floor, she's doing something? Is that? Oh my God, that's Tony Basil. I was like, that's Tony Basil, dude. I remember laying on my stomach looking at her. Right? And I was like, wow, Tony Basil is in my class. I mean, it's funny when you see celebrities, especially celebrities that sing songs. As soon as you see them, you hear the song in the background, like, "Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine." I was just like, "That's Tony." And we became very good friends after that. But I mean, I feel like I've progressed as a professional dancer, but as a community dancer, I think coming full circle and meeting some of those people that I looked up to and that were such big stars at the time, so far away, and connecting with them, small world kind of thing. It made me feel complete, like I've come full circle just in meeting a couple of them. I've met a couple of people, and I've met a lot of celebrities. I've always been around celebrities, but they were superstars to me. So I was very happy to actually touch base with all of them and have good conversations and actually continue friendships with them. And it really means a lot. But when I first started dancing, I mean, my mom pushed me out on stage one time in a fashion show, and I just sat there crying, but still staying in character. It's like, she's like, do the hump move, do the thing that you did, and I'm doing the hump move, like, they're like, yeah, and I got this little green suit, but yeah, I was doing the hump move. That was my first show, really. I was pushed on stage.
I love that you made that distinction between professional dancer and community dancer, because I just have never felt like I've ever been able to ever be like a professional dancer, and community dancer is a beautiful term.
None of us did. It's like some people were trying to be professional dancers, and then some people had gotten so good that people were like, "You need to be a professional." They push you into it. I believe in you. I was like, "Well, I ain't that good." It's like, "Well, nigga, you was flying." I just when you hear people, because I felt like people believed in me more than I believed in myself. It's funny, Peter Paul was just telling the story. He was like, yeah, Ejoe was a really quiet and humble kid until he started dancing with us. And then, he won a couple of contests and we couldn't shut him up after that. I was just like, y'all broke open y'all broke the shell open.
That's because all of them know how to talk.
Yeah, so you have to defend yourself. When you live in a ghetto, you got to defend yourself physically. You got to defend yourself. Dudes, play the numbers on you. What the fuck you wearing, nigga? Look at what you wearing.
You got to defend yourself artistically too.
Yeah, you have to defend yourself, and if you're gonna do what we do, you better be the best at it, you know. So there was always battles. There's always a level of competition, especially in in the hood. In the hood, you are always proving to people that you were, whether it was on the basketball court. I mean, motherfuckers sit up with a basketball and bounce that shit underneath their legs for hours just so they could like take somebody out on
a 2-second move, just a 2-second crossover.
move, and you buckle his knees, and everybody like, oh, you only have to shoot the ball now. It's like, you know, so everybody had their own little niche, and we all had to like come up. I had to come up. You know, I came up with Mob Top, and you're surrounded by like great dancers. I mean, not like a couple. Like everybody's a great dancer, and everybody is edging. And it's like you feeling like you have to catch up. So we put a lot of time into our art, but subconsciously we were trying to murder each other, trying to kill. I'll never let this motherfucker take me out again. You know, the way I feel, you going home kicking rocks and shit, you mad as fuck. I was like, I'm not gonna have people laughing at me just too much. You know, and I was like, I want them to be scared. I want them to be absolutely frightened of me. I mean, I've gotten there, but I wanted them to be like, oh shit, you know, here we come. You know, like especially after I lost the contest in Kilimanjaro's, I was on a tear. Like I would.
You lost that to that. Wait, who is that dude with the tap dance shoes that beat you?
John Brown.
He could. But he to me he danced. He had nice sentences, but he didn't have good paragraphs. He had nice sentences, but no paragraphs.
With a name like John Brown, it's so black. That's why I can't believe Nate Robinson got knocked out by a white boy the other day. Because with a name like Nate Robinson, you know, everybody I knew named Nate, they had hands, you know. So I mean, it was sad. It was sad, but yeah. I mean, it's you know, anyway, you know, dancing coming up, and you know, it's show and prove. And when I was dancing hip hop, it was harder than I mean, house is relatively easy compared to what hip hop was. When I met Marjorie, she bumped me out the circle. She's like, I was like, what the fuck you doing? She's like, what the fuck you doing? You know, like that was the first words that we ever said to each other in the midst of this right here. But surrounded by, you know, it's a great thing because all of these dancers, the ones that I've danced with and others, we've all gone professional. We all kind of grew up in the same room, listening to the same music, and we just all branched out a different way. So it's like, it's amazing to see how far we've come after like 20, 30 years. It's still doing it. You know, most people are dealing with rheumatism and
I was gonna say most people are in bed right now.
They're hurt. No, I mean they're hurt. They don't put this much into it.
That's like, testament to the fact that dancing is the fountain of youth, and movement is the key
for a good second. Hell yeah, until you stop. When you stop,
you just can't stop.
That's when all that old get on you. Like when Dorothy threw the water at the witch and shit, and she was like, I'm melting. That's how you feel after you finish dancing and stuff, and you're like, oh, it's all coming down. But it's always worth it. It's always worth it. Where'd you go? Oh, okay.
I'm here.
I thought she was gonna come back with a different outfit on or something.
I have something to say about what you said, Serge, about some people taking the dance so serious, and people come here and they want to learn and all of that. No offense to anyone, but they're not us. It's different when you were there when it happened. The people who became professionals and stuff, they didn't learn it. It happened authentically.
Well, there's
they created that whole thing for the people that do come here and learn it.
Well, there's a lot of people, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a lot of people that are kind of faking the funk as well.
Yeah, I agree. See, us, we know what's what.
And quote unquote, before you even start to say that, Ejoe, as somebody who was not in the room and who was not part of the quote unquote A-list and that first generation of y'all that actually did it and actually did it professionally, I felt like I was part of the B-list, as in like I was the home team while y'all were out on tour doing the shows, whatever.
Yeah.
I had to rep New York. I was like, all that was on our shoulders because we were the second generation. We were at home. So it was like, okay, when these guys come in town, it's cool. It's their show. They worked hard for it. They deserve it. But like for us being at home and to see these people that put so much energy into it, it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking
It's
about
fun.
if we were the A-list dancers, then
Yes.
these are these dancers or the older dancers that felt like they're a letter before A, you know.
Yes.
And now that we're doing it, now they have so much to say about, you know, how it's being done and this is the way we used to do it when they didn't even have a voice before. I mean,
So
before
that's your perspective. I
YouTube
got
and
you.
all of that shit. Now they're doing a whole lot of talking. You really, you know, if you learn anything from us, you've learned anything from that second generation of dancers.
Yeah.
They were out there doing it. We
Now, when
wasn't
you say
talking
second
about
generation, do you mean second generation after Larry, after Garage, or
it.
second generation?
Yeah, I mean
Like what?
second generation after grow. I mean the early '80s, late '80s generation. Like
So
the
then I have to call
early
myself third generation. Then I'm
you
third.
could call yourself third generation because we're second generation. I mean, if it starts with, you know,
Loft and the and
I was
all
gonna
those
say, would
like
Paradise Garage
starts
be
with
the
like the
second
Loft
generation?
Garage,
Is that way?
right? But I
Because of
mean,
Loft?
what I'm saying is there were people that were there every now and then, and now they walk around with a Loft jacket on, and you know, like, this is how Lofton is done, and this is, and it's like, dude, first off, nobody would have known about what you think it is until we did it. And we're not trying to change things, but you're trying to change things because you didn't have a voice before. So we
Because we
opened the door
exposed it.
for you.
Exposed
We
it.
opened the
Yeah.
door for you to have a voice, and you shutting the door in our face. Like, thank you. And you know, and it's like, and I don't mean
No,
to
but I want to touch on that. So as you get older and as you become one of the elders,
one of the
the
elders.
younger dancers coming up behind you, how do you try to not do what they
Well,
did?
see, this is the thing.
How do you counter that?
People, see, this is the thing. Older people deserve and reserve respect. And when they don't get it, then they act their regular old way. Well, that's fucked up. Them fucking kids is fucked up. Yeah, some of them kids is fucked up. They don't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing when we were doing it. So we didn't need your guidance. We didn't need you to tell us what to do, because some of them told us what to do and then told everybody else, I'm the one that made that motherfucker, you know, and it's like, so you try to take all this credit off of something that you didn't do or you never was a part of until you saw everybody getting attention from it, and now you want to be big house dance representative. Where when we first started doing it, when me and Ray first started doing house classes, these are the same people who were like, why are you teaching us all, why are you teaching all our shit to them? Why are you teaching? And I was like, it ain't our shit. I mean, they gonna come in here stealing anyway. We might as
So
well
where do
get
you think that
paid.
come from? Do you think that was fear? That was fear?
I think it was
possessiveness.
attention or lack thereof, because we were getting a lot of light that they wasn't going around the world and teaching house classes until we had already broke that door open.
Well, it was intimidating. The first time I walked into Faisal's, whose picture did I see? I saw Ejoe and I saw Voodoo Ray on the wall right there. As soon as you walk in Faisal's.
I'm not saying that we weren't inspired. We were inspired by them. Some of us learned things from them. I mean, you can sit up and dance with me and be like, yo, okay, so when you do this, try this and try this. But that don't mean that you're Mr. Miyagi and I'm fucking Daniel-san. Like you didn't teach me anything. We had a good night of dancing, and you're so pleased with how better I got as a dancer that you're taking credit with that, when it's like it should inspire you just to dance better, because I would dance with them. The young kids, they don't dance with me because they're scared. Or
Scared of what? Scared of what?
Scared of getting taken out. They're scared of getting
So what are you intimidating? Why are you so intimidating?
I am a monster. I am an actual monster. No, I mean I don't dance no more.
No, but when you say you're a monster, do you actually literally turn into a monster? Is that your mindset? What's going on?
No, my mindset is, look, I want to come to the club and I just want to have a good time. I don't want to dance because when I start dancing, then that it creates, you know, it creates all this angst, right?
So can I give you my impression? My impression is, bam, you got Ejoe. He's fresh off tour. He comes home. He's in a good mood. He wants to have a good time. He comes to the club and he brings something to the shelter that we don't have. He brings his energy where it's all playful. He's wearing masks. He's jumping around. He's rocking plotter sneakers. He's fucking up, but he's having a good time.
Look,
and it reminds everybody, don't. It reminds everybody that it's not all about this battle thing. And that was what was really refreshing about when you would come home in between that era, my era, when I would say like 97 to like 2003, 2004, you would come home with this playful energy, and it would remind everybody that, yo, this is what it was about. And on top of that, he would have this thing that nobody else had. Everybody had their style, but the one thing that Ejoe would do that would drive me nuts was he would imitate everybody else. And you can't truly consider yourself a master of something until you can take everyone else's style and spit it back out at them.
But this was
hilarious.
But this was me trying to be liked, and I was showing them that I am watching you.
You were showing us, and
I do
worked.
watch you, and I do study you, because I mean, if you're to take everything in these forced frontal lobes of yours, right, and try to not look at it, you see it even more, right?
Okay.
I don't want to copy anybody, but my body would do things that were recorded in my mind that I didn't do on purpose. And if I was feeling good, then all of that was just coming out. The bad thing is I don't feel good like that anymore. You know, I mean,
why?
Because of injury and like I said, like, okay, I go to the shelter and I'm dancing and stuff like that. There's a bunch of motherfuckers over like, this motherfucker over here in the circle again. You know, just fucking hating the fact that, I mean, there were people that grew to love me later, but at the beginning they were like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Why y'all, you know, like, what? Okay, one time, Little Ray, just last Little Ray, we were at Cielo, and I had just came back from someplace, and a couple of my students were in there and stuff like that, and I felt like dancing, so I started dancing, and they backed up and they were watching me, and Ray was like, "What the fuck y'all backing up for? How come y'all don't just dance? Why y'all gotta watch him?" You know, and I was like, "Well, I mean, some of them are my students." He was like, "Man, fuck that! Everybody dance," you know. And the thing is, that's how they did it in your day. I'm not saying that we should not have circles. If the fucking DJ's doing his job, there ain't gonna be no circles. You know, like, but there is, it's New York, and there's a want to get in the circle and show, you know, there's a want to be seen by everybody.
But with that also comes, I think, a perception from the outside world, you know, maybe Europe, maybe wherever, that everything in New York is about battles. It's all about battles. All we did was battle.
Not just that. These motherfuckers think they own the whole fucking club. And coming
yes.
And they
came
in.
But meanwhile, if everybody in the club is a good opponent and is formidable and is good at what they do, then it's not all about a battle because everybody's feeding off of each other. And I miss that energy.
Well,
that energy still exists. I can't get in a circle and I can't do any of those fancy things, but I'm still a part of the whole thing. If somebody walks in, they'll be like, "Oh, she's part of this."
But unless you're a dance student, once you're a dance student, though, you're in New York, and it's like, I have to do my best, and I'm.
I have something to say.
Well,
I just want to say again that goes. Hold on, Ejoe. That goes back to what Serge was saying because he was asking. How do you then teach the youth now that comes in the next generation? How will they learn, I guess, and how will they get these lessons? And one of the things that occurred to me is from first generation, and I don't know if people will consider Loft and Paradise Garage the same generation, because Loft might actually come first. But wherever it starts, for whoever it starts for, they didn't have anybody before them. So we came and we were the new people. We were the only new people because they all were together. They all had each other. So we were the first ones to get the lesson.
Well,
so now the lesson turns to us, and we will do the same thing that was done for us. Because like you said, Ejoe, like you said, nobody stopped and said, hey, but you also said, and this is the true part. Somebody did say, oh, you might not want to stand over there because that's where the circle is. Hey, you might not want to do this because this happens here. If we didn't know it, somebody taught us. That's how when we would go to the club, almost every club we went to, everybody, a brand new club, first night, we would all go in and be like, we were looking for a new house. I want my house to be over there. And for as long as that club exists, that's the corner you'll find each group in. And that's, that's just happened authentically as well. So I'm just saying, I think, that's a very interesting thing. And I think we are doing that for the next generation. We are saying, hey, don't, hey, do.
Yeah, but I tell the young generation, especially the ones that come to my class, because a lot of them want a lot of the history, and it's fine. I can give you history, but I'm like, there were these clubs that were happening in the 80s, and I was there at the end of it, and you wasn't, and you missed it, and just let it go. Let it go. Missed it. You wasn't there.
And you failed to mention one fact. Most of the time that I was there, I was really just having a good time and not worrying about.
That's what dancing. It really was about. I mean, and that's the thing. It's so fucking old hat. Like we used to go to the club and have fun. It was like, oh, word, wow, y'all didn't have any internet back then. Nigga, we didn't even have internet. It was just. It was, well, how'd you check your email? Nigga, we had no internet. So how we check? We had no fucking email. We was like, you had a fucking pen pal, if anything. Like, but I mean, and this is the thing with the older generation. They're always gonna be like, well, in my day, it was like this, and it ain't like it used to be. It's never like it used to be because you ain't young no more. And when you're young, frivolous.
I got a question for you, Ejoe, from the chat, from Brian Polite.
Okay.
He wants to know, what do you think when you compare the way you started as a teacher of dance and how you teach now?
Oh shit. Well,
so you're talking about, I felt that's
okay.
Mars also asked a similar question.
Okay, well, me and Ray.
Mars asked that question for both of you. So go ahead, Ejoe.
Well, it started with me and Ray. I was approached by a bunch of Japanese kids, and they wanted to learn how to dance from us. Now there were other people that were already doing dance classes. Say Joey Anderson was doing a dance class at that time, and but it wasn't a curricular. It wasn't done like a class. It was just like, I'm gonna dance a little, you're gonna dance. So it wasn't really teaching them how to. I mean, I don't want to say it the wrong way. He was teaching them, but when I was approached, I decided to try to break up a lot of the stuff that I had seen other dancers do. The person that comes to mind is Cheryl and April, like how she used to dance, and if we can split up those different signature moves, pas de bourrées, cha-cha, this, that, everything, and put it into blocks, right? The whole concept was to make, just like you have building blocks and you have letters, and you put those letters together to make a word, and you put those words together to make a sentence. This is how we were going to teach house. So when I went up to Ray, I was like, yo, there's like these kids that want me to teach them how to, but I need a studio. He was like, how much are they going to ask for? I was like, it's like 20 each. He's like, how many kids? I was like 15. maybe 17. He was like, bet, I'll find the studio. And then, you know, and the next thing you know, we were also, me and Ray, smoking weed one night, had sat up there and figured out how we were going to block off the different ways that we were going to teach these kids. And I wanted to teach them moves like pas de bourrée 4/4, cha-cha 4/4, so they would be able to rearrange it and make another word or make another combination and stuff like that. So it was very formulaic when you really think about it. As for how we felt about it, I mean, we were, these were what we called the grasshopper days. We were all grasshoppers. This is what the elders called us, grasshoppers, because we looked like we were just jumping around and jumping around and jumping around. Whereas the elders were like pacing themselves and slowing down and using a very elongated way in order to express themselves physically through the music. We were jumping on every beat and choppy, choppy, da, 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 you know. So to find a balance in between the two. As for then, I was a person that taught steps. I was a person that taught steps that didn't even know how to count yet. I mean, everybody knows how to count, but I didn't know about and. Or one and a two, one and a two, and a three, and a four, you know, the one and the two and the three. I didn't know all of those breakdowns and stuff like that. The good thing is I knew how to play drums. So because I knew how to play drums, I was able to figure out through what drummers call rudiments, you know, which is like right, left, 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 left. It's a paradiddle, right, left, left, left. You know, when you do that with your feet, you're basically doing a drum solo, which brings you into the tap dancing thing. You take the tap dance away and it becomes bebop. You take the bebop away, it becomes street dance. So, I mean, and then going back and studying through all of that to make myself a better teacher, I had a job at the Music and Art Library by the Met. So I was able to look up, I was an Americana page. So I had all of this dance that I could look back on in the 1900s. And so I was stuck on this thing called the spirit moves, which is basically us and the pre-war in the 30s, in the late 30s, and the Savoy Manor. And I'm like, damn, that dude looks like Peter Paul. This dude looks like Khalif. That dude looks like me. And it's like, well, it looks like we're all recreated. It all looks like it's really fucking scary because I mean, we're all dancing.
No, it's a way
we're all dancing different.
Time.
But I'm going to the club and I'm like, damn, if they saw what I just saw earlier today, because it's the same shit. It's happening, and it's crazy because it's called the spirit moves, and I'm like, well, maybe there's spirits in the room moving us different ways. You ever do something and you can't remember what you did? Tony Bones is great for this because Tony Bones would be like, yo, you see that shit you just did? I can't remember a goddamn thing I just did. It's just flowing. And he's just like, and once you're in it, like you're not really in control of it anymore. So it's almost like the spirits or the ghosts are moving you the way they would move, or maybe they jumped inside you for a second. It's weird. It's weird to talk about it that way. But I always believed that, and I was really in love with the 40s and how good we looked in suits and stuff like that, and how good the girls looked, their hair and everything. People got dressed up to go out and dance. And I mean, it was still like that. It's still like that now. Remember when you couldn't get in the club when where they were like dressed to impress, and you get there with your sneakers and they're like,
you have no sneakers.
Not tonight. Not
no
tonight,
sneakers. I have a question for you, Serge. So how did you make the transition from being a club goer and a dancer to being a DJ and then a producer?
Did you get that, Serge?
Your sound went out.
the last thing she said was a producer. How did you make the transition from being a dancer to DJ and producer?
I can't hear you.
Me? You can't hear me?
Can
Can't hear
Now we can hear you, Serge.
you hear me now?
Oh,
Now?
okay.
All right. Well, I mean, first off, I never considered myself that good of a dancer. So it was like the transition. What transition? I'm still a student. And to this day, I still am. I mean, like dancing was always something that I just wanted it to be fun. You know, the few times that I had the opportunity to kind of do professional things with dance, it was like, it was cool, but it just was like, it was a scary thing because I always wanted to make sure that it was something that I could do to be my outlet and to be my release and to be fun for me. So like, you know, I ended up getting approached to do a show at the shelter with Chance and the Sun Kids, and I got these two Japanese kids, and you know, I rented some studio space at Faisal's, and the first thing I realized is like, oh my god, they're really watching everything that I'm doing. I would rehearse a couple moves, and I do it in front of the mirror, and they'd watch me, and they'd spit it back, and by the time we got to the third move, I couldn't remember what the first two moves were, and I looked back at them, and they were doing it robotically. So that's when I realized, okay, choreography is not my thing. But nevertheless, the show turned out really well because you know they were doing my stuff and I was kind of chiming in every now and then, and I was doing the freestyle thing at the point where we were supposed to do the freestyle thing. So to get back to the answer to the question, the transition from dancer to DJ, at that time in my life, I was someone who had just gotten my first apartment. So DJing was a way that I could get people to come to my house. I would buy records, and I had these turntables, and it was so much more than the club. It was like I was learning to be an adult, and being an adult was having people over at my house listening to music that you couldn't find anywhere else, and that is what helped me make that transition. And then on top of that, you know, when you first start DJing, the first thing they teach you is you have to keep, tapping your foot to help keep the beat. So that right there is dancing. And then the other part is that you start to realize that people are only going to come out to hear you play because they think that you're an okay dancer. So, I'm not the most popular guy. I'm not, known for my mixes. I'm not on the radio like Timmy or anything, but you know what? When I go to the club, I see that guy dance, and I hear that he's doing a party at Ray Hansloff in Brooklyn. I might come through and hear him play, or I might come through and hear him train wrecks and mixes as he actually learned how to be a DJ. In the same way that he learned how to be a dancer, because I watched him when he first started dancing, he wasn't that good, but then he got better. So if he's just starting to DJ, maybe I might have faith that he'll get better at that too.
Well, most good dance, most DJs were good dancers or were dancing at one
Say
time.
it again. Jihad Muhammad.
He was dancing. Joe was dancing.
Joey. I mean, we didn't even touch on Joey.
Joey definitely. I was like Joe Cassell. Joe
Cassell, yeah. I mean, I've always seen him dancing too, though.
He's always dancing. He's
always.
Like, this is how I dodge Chinese stars.
He always refers to me as his favorite dancer. I was like, wow, thank you, bro. I wish you would know my name other than that, but nice.
Well, I've got something to say to you, Serge, specifically. I need you to know that I find you to be a very good dancer. You are what is mostly described as butter. You're not doing hard moves. Everything with you is an S. Look at my hand. Look at my hand, Serge. There's no L's in your moves. It's all S. Buttery. But you can be a very good dancer and still be a student. Never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Everything.
And now that I'm at a point where it's like what was that video game, Skate or Die? It's kind of like this. It's like dance or die.
But I
you stay flexible or you die.
I think that you underestimate yourself because you put yourself in a competitive light of those people that stand next to you or came before you or anything like that. Like for me, there was a point where I'm sure I was wicked annoying. I was just like, I was always up in people's faces and stuff like that. In order for me not to do that, I put in some time into dancing, and then that kind of took over. I was like, I really don't want to be so annoying. I mean, I just can't stop. I'm gonna be annoying. It's just my nature.
I remember those years though, man. We had some really
Wait,
good
1 minute, Ejoe. To
Yeah.
our friends on the Instagram, you're going to get cut off soon and we're not coming back. So you can join us on Twitch or you can see it on the archives on our YouTube channel. Continue.
Go to Twitch. That's what I say. Go
They
to
cut us
Twitch.
off. They cut us off on Instagram. Why they do that?
Because Instagram is what it is.
Because if you're not D-Nice, they don't let you stream for more than an hour.
We don't
Okay,
know.
so wait.
We've had our luck. Sometimes they let us keep going because I don't know.
I want to ask a question because it feels like an interview. I want to know if there's stories that you want us to tell.
I do. But first, before you do that, I want to know the story from the chat. Brooklyn Iconic asked about the story of how you wound up getting your image on screen. How you wound up getting your image on the screen during Elton John concerts. Did you hear me?
No, you broke up. How did you end up getting your image on the screen at what?
Elton John concerts.
Well,
Elton John.
Me and Elton, we met back in Brooklyn during the.
No.
Back and behind clubs doors.
No, that's the. Okay, I had gotten a call to do an Elton John video. I was like, I don't do any more videos. You know, I'm not being an asshole, but
What year was this? What year was this?
This was a couple years ago. This is his farewell tour. So it had to be like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. And it's like, oh shit, Elton John. That's how I want to end it. That's how I want to. I want that to be my last video. So I'm like, sure, I'll do the video. And there's a whole bunch of kids, some popping kids, Peach Rodriguez. You know, like she was popping in it. She's the only person that was as old as I was. Everybody else, they had Miyabi, Sibo and Terry's daughter, you know, and they had this guy who I look a little like in the face, but not in dancing. His name's Storyboard. Really, really cool cat. And cool dancing, actually. So, you know, I put in my mind that I was going to get to meet Elton John, Sir Elton John, but he didn't even come in. He didn't even come in. We did all the dancing in the studio, and it was all us, you know, just dancing to, you know, Philadelphia Freedom. And they had told us that, yeah, he's going to play this on the big screen behind him during his farewell tour. So I had gotten calls from random people that were like, I saw you at the Elton John concert. And it was like, yeah, I wasn't really like there, but you know, I was on the screen. So, you know, I got called for a job and I went down there and did that. And I guess now I can appreciate the magnitude of it being his farewell tour. It must have been a fucking kick in the pants for anybody that knew me to go to Elton John concert, and they're like, "That's fucking Ejoe up there," you know.
Person in the chat, Brooklyn Iconic, said that she saw you and you were like as big as the stadium, and she was like, "Hold up."
I wish I would have seen it. It wasn't like we were invited. Or it wasn't like we had tickets or anything like that.
Damn.
Not just that, but we couldn't see the video. We couldn't see the video, and we couldn't show the video to anyone. It was supposed to be all secret and stuff. So I never really got to see what it looks like. I think Peaches sent me some video of it live and stuff like that. And it's funny when you get a close up. It's funny when you see when you're looking at a camera that's probably back up in the cheap seats, and you know you see a little guy and you're like, oh, that must be Elton. And then you see a big screen, and then you see your face like this on the screen and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, it's just a clip, but I didn't get to really. didn't get to really see it. So, but yeah, it's just the last. I think that's it. I think that's it for videos for me. I think I'm gonna end it there.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You're here with us. But Serge, I have a question for you.
Another video.
Kim Lightfoot, who you may or may not have heard of, would like to know what made you choose dance music when you decided to DJ?
Ooh, I mean, when I decided to DJ, it was around the time that I was going to Body and Soul, and it was that 97, it was 1997, and Princess Diana had just died and the shelter had just opened. And I was going there, and at the same time I was transitioning out of, living with my mom and moving out, like I already touched on before. And so it was always dance music. Dance music was always the reason to DJ. And it wasn't until I started doing Monday nights with Cool Marv. I was opening up for Cool Marv at Ludlow Bar on Ludlow Street. And this is like 1998, 99 or whatever. But that's when I realized that like there was a way to play dance music, but to play other styles too. Like Marv would always play off of the last record that I played. So if it was a house record, he would always play a house record, but he would take 2 or 3 records to transition into R&B, into hip hop and all those other things. And that's when I started to realize more and more about the correlation and how all these different styles would go together. Because at the time that I started DJing, like DJing, all it was to me was 119 to 128. Anything outside of that, like I just couldn't understand. I couldn't translate. So it wasn't until I started actually opening up for Cool Marv that I was actually able to learn like how to incorporate what it was that I grew up on as an R&B, soul, hip hop, other stuff, and bring that and merge that with house, because house was so different and so isolated that to me there was no way you could ever, bring those other worlds together. And then also, motherfucker, you about to go into surgery?
You don't like my duckies?
Yo, that works, yo. Your rubber duck is dope. And
go ahead.
I moved to Atlanta in around 2004. And getting to Atlanta, they have a love for house music, but it's like a 45 minutes, 30 minutes at the most at a time. So learning how to incorporate soul, funk, jazz, and all that stuff into those venues confidently and being able to play at different BPMs, and then coming back to New York and I didn't know we was gonna have costume changes out this motherfucker.
Hey man, I was
you just tell your story. You just tell your story, sir.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And yeah, so Kim wants to ask me a question about like, why, what was the question again? Why what?
Kim wanted to know why you chose dance music when you decided to DJ.
Dance music chose me.
Okay,
that's a short answer.
And scene.
Hello. Perfect answer.
Oh man. I mean, dance music chose me. When I walked into the DJ booth and I saw Kim Lightfoot, and I was like, I thought that he was literally playing a remix that I had never heard. And I saw that it was actually just 2 records riding together for the last fucking 3 minutes. I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to mix seamlessly and create new vibes. That was part of it. So to get that question from the older guard like Kim, nothing but respect.
I have a question for both of you. You can both flip. And Ejoe, I've seen you run down a hill at full speed and do a triple axel. Serge, I've seen you do all kinds of back flips and front flips and all kinds of things. How do you learn or know that you can do that? I've always wondered about that. I've asked Ejoe before, and I don't know if
and quiet is kept. She dreams about doing that at like the opportune time.
I call Cynthia at 2 a.m. like, yo.
Yes, do like we did back in the days and get 3 pissy mattresses and put them on.
Damn, why they gotta be pissy?
Because that's why they threw the mattresses out. Because motherfucking pissy.
It wouldn't be on the street in the first place.
I mean, and because it was a pissy mattress, you always landed on your feet. You ain't want to lay in that shit. So we usually flip off of it.
So that and then one thing I will definitely add that I was taught from my teachers, because it's not something that anybody that has seen me flip or whatever, I don't want you to think that this is something that was like that I've been doing since childhood or whatever. I didn't learn this stuff until my 20s. I always wanted to, but most of it is flexibility, and most of it is learning how to fall. You're gonna fall. How are you gonna fall, and are you gonna be able to get back up? Learning how to fall is the most important part. The second part would be walking down the wall. Can you walk down the wall? Walk down the wall is actually reaching backwards.
If you can reach backwards.
And walk down the wall, all the way down until you get to your legs, till you get your hands on the ground. When you get down, you walk yourself back up. If you can't do it, you need to at home. And for me, it was a situation where it was like every week I was practicing for what I was going to work on in the club. So in terms of that, I'd say all it is flexibility and a lack of fear. Once you get over the fear of breaking your neck, like I'm going to land on my neck, but it's not going to kill me. All right, cool. That is the whole backflip thing. And then, it's funny you asked that, because I'm going to tell a funny story in regards to something that happened at 39th Street. I was at 39th Street. I was having a good time. I'm like, yo, Ejoe's in town. All right, cool. This is my brother. I look up to him. He's in a good mood. You know what? Let me get some knowledge from this brother. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do a back semi. Back semi, for those of you who don't know, is basically a back somersault where you don't put your hands in the ground. You just basically do a backflip. So I'm like, Ejoe's there. I'm like, you know what? Let me tap him on the back. I tap him on the back. Timmy's playing. It's loud. I'm like, yo, teach me how to do a backflip. He's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. So I'm like, let me show you what I got. So I run, kind of just, I jump up, I do a back semi, and I land straight on like
you jumped up backwards and folded like a wallet when you hit the wham. And I was like, no.
So then I got up and I was like, you know what? I can't look bad in front of Ejoe. It's okay. I messed up once. It's no problem. Ejoe is here. I feel confident. This is my brother. I'm gonna get this. So then I do it again.
And you landed in the same place on the same side of your head. And I was like, no. I was like, okay, stop. I picked you up. I was like, come on.
So meanwhile, I'm on the ground like this, and I'm like, Ejoe, I'm gonna try it again, one more time.
I said, no,
so at that point,
hurt.
At that point, he pats me on the back. He's like, listen, bro, good job, man. I think you need to sit down.
Did fine.
At that point, he's like, yo, you got a concussion, bro. You probably got a little bit of brain damage. You should probably hit the emergency room.
I tell that story.
It's a great story.
It's a true story, though.
It's a true story. I mean,
but nobody really knew it was going down because it was loud and we were playing it off. No, and I didn't leave the club. Okay, I didn't leave the club right away. I went down the first time.
Because you did the first time, we were like, oh, okay, he's all right. And you didn't say fuck it and go gang ho and do it again. You started dancing again, right? And you danced enough for us to be like, okay, calm down and look the other way. And then it was like, bam, and I was like,
I looking so good.
I want to help him. I mean, I want to help you to learn how to do it because it's going to mean you doing this a couple more times. But
meanwhile, I'm like, this dude be running up walls. I can do it. I'm with Ejoe.
I commend you for the aggression you had halfway into it.
Thank you.
The bad part was, see, what you did was, okay, how can I let me try to with this thing on here, right? You jumped in the air and you didn't rotate. You just went up. You went up and you came down. And when you came down, then your feet came down like that. That's the wallet part. That's when you close like this. And I was like, when you first did it, we were like, damn, is he all right? He's all right. Yeah, he didn't do it on purpose, but he rolled it off. And then when you did it the second time, I was like, he's trying to work something out right now. He did do it on purpose. And it's like, I want to stop him before he hurts himself because
he literally he literally picked me up off the ground. Was like, yo,
I got him.
Good job, kid. Great job.
Look,
all right, go to the locker room. Go take a shower.
Go take a shower, kid. You played a great game. You did your best.
Let the doctor check your eyes for
Yeah,
concussion.
shower up, yeah. Good.
Meanwhile, I didn't go to work that Monday because I was seeing stars and I had probably a slight
Come
concussion.
on.
I had a Kaepernick concussion, you know. I still walk a little funny on my left side.
Stop, man. But see, right there, that's
right
that's
there.
where
See,
you-
it
that's
developed
where
a
you
whole new
landed.
vocabulary of
That's where
movement.
the elasticity is. That you landed flat right there. See that? That's where the floor was. All right.
What was the question?
Hey, Red, I learned how to flip at Truman College.
Truman College?
I mean, not Truman College. Yeah,
Truman High School?
Oh,
Oh, yeah?
like you were the Huxtables? Wait, were you in the
Truman High School
Royal?
in Co-op City.
Really? Well, that's a nice fun fact.
Yep. They kicked me out of there for trying to do a triple off of the trampoline. And I
Yeah,
missed.
see, that's the thing. What you guys just described as learning how to flip, but that does not still explain to me how you figure out that you can do a double flip or a
You don't
triple
figure
flip.
it out. You never
It comes
figure
down to
it
one
out.
thing.
You say fuck it right
You
before
have to
you do
figure it out because
But
eventually
it
you
comes down
realize
to one
Right
thing.
before you do it, you're
comes
like,
down to
fuck
one
it.
thing. You have to get over the fear of breaking your neck. I'm not gonna break my neck. That's all it
okay.
comes down to. Once you learn that
You
you're
are
not
gonna
gonna break
land on
neck,
your head though. You're just not gonna break your neck. You are gonna hit your head.
you are.
Fuck that.
And having dreads helps. Having dreads helps.
Fuck that.
I'm
Because
never
after you
gonna
cut your dreads
fuck
off,
with
you're
Yeah,
like,
I
damn,
guess,
I
that
tell you
yeah.
what.
feels
Hey, I
so
tell you what, Red. I tell you one thing. A back flip is easier than a front flip. You know why?
Why?
Because your front flip, you can't
you
see
want-
your knees in the way, so you have to open out of it at the right time. When the back flip, you see everything happening in slow motion. The ground is right there, and it's coming right there, and there it
It's
is.
crazy. It's crazy.
Why didn't my feet follow my head?
Well,
Also-
Ejoe, I have a question for you, and this will be, I guess, you'll just answer the question.
The two-part question.
Denny Slim would like to know what made you decide to start Soulgasm with Red on a Wednesday night. And so now you can tell how that is
You want
not
to tell
what
your
happened.
part or mine? Well, okay.
I don't have a part in that.
Yeah, you do.
I come later.
Okay, so Brian Cox and Jesus, God bless, had started a party called Soulgasm that they were doing in the Lower East Side. And this had to be one of the worst parties I've ever gone to in my life. Because he was
Play more tribal.
they were trying to do Saturday night music, that hard house, on a Wednesday. And you know that those parties are full of, drug people. So no, those people are not coming out on a Wednesday. Not saying that they won't, but the it wasn't as much of a pull as I guess Jesus thought it was going to be. He brought his bongos. But he would also talk to your girl. You go to the bathroom, he's talking to your girl. So I mean, and that's just how he was. He had
That's our boy.
he had a lot of kids, and he had a lot of babies' mamas in trouble because of that. So he was, I think,
Stay on subject. Stay on subject.
I am on the subject. He was on his 8th kid or some shit like that. So he had to get out of town.
Rest in peace, Jesus.
Huh?
Rest in peace, Jesus.
Rest in peace, Jesus.
That was my dude.
Yeah. So he was like, he had to get out of town. And he was like, yo, B, I'm going to fucking, yo, I got to go to Miami, yo. I got to get out of here. So, yo, you wanna,
I remember.
yo, you want to, but he didn't really give it to me. Brian Cox had asked him, he was like, what, you just leaving like that? We got a party. He was like, nah, I got shit, yo, I gotta go. I gotta shake the spot. So fucking Brian was like, well, tell me somebody that knows as many dancers as you. And in Brian's mind, I was going to just get the dancers in there, so I would be working for Brian. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do this party unless we're partners, you know. And if you want me to do this party, I can get all the dancers in here. I can get 200 dancers in there if you want. But you're going to have to change the aesthetic. You're going to have to change the format of this party because nobody likes that music.
Can I throw in a little fun fact sidebar?
Yeah.
Jesus literally used to stand in front of the DJ booth in front of Brian and say, "Play more tribal." Okay,
Yeah,
go on. Go on.
Yeah, so I mean, and this is what was happening with Shelter, right? Because this all plays into it. What was happening in Shelter was, I think it had just been like Labor Day or something like that. And if you know Labor Day, you know the Shelter heads. Some of these dudes, you know, work for transit and electricians, and they don't, you know, like contractors and shit like that. And they only have, you know, like 1 week out of 6 weeks that they can, you know, have some fun. So they usually go to Labor Day, right? They usually do the Labor Day party, or is it?
It's
Well,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the Labor
You're right.
Day,
You're
right?
right. You ain't saying
So
no.
they go to the Labor Day party, and you know, Timmy, when Timmy's on, he's on. You understand? When Timmy's on, he's fucking on, and we will follow him to the edge of the earth when he's on. But sometimes he would be off, and motherfuckers would be like, you know, like, yeah, like, I waited 6 weeks to do this shit, and this motherfucker sent me home. Like, damn, Timmy, I almost came, nigga. You fucking, you know, it's so fucking, you get make everybody so mad. And I was like, Brian, you have deep and soulful house. You have Timmy records. You know how to play like that. Not to play like Timmy, play like yourself, but play some of that stuff. And we can get those people. Those people can take a fucking Thursday off. You know, like they could come out on Wednesday night and take a Thursday off before they get a Saturday, a Friday and a Saturday. You know, so I was just working. If we have Wednesday, if we're working on, you know, I knew all the Shelter heads, so I was like, let's get them over here. You know, I mean, the dances are going to be easy. I gotta have this place filled up with you know, a bunch of different dancers, but we need the old heads, and we need people, and we need drinkers. And then when we started it, you know, the thing that was missing was where Red came in and did like the promotions, and we needed another aspect, because that nigga wasn't doing any promotions, and I'm doing everything by word of mouth. Like, hey, I got a party. I didn't know shit about computers. I don't think I got a fucking computer until like 2007. You know, like I missed the whole, you know, like Apple computer shit with the you know, pretty colors and shit. I just missed everything. You know, so I mean, I already had a Hotmail, MySpace and Hotmail account before I even had a computer. I used to go to 42nd Street and pay $11 to fucking sit up there on that bullshit. So Red had computer savvy, and she was creative, and she was just like, I want the second floor. You know, like as soon as she got there, she was like, I want the fucking second floor. Like, how come we don't have
But
this?
you missed a little part. You had to go away. You were going touring somewhere, and you asked me to guest host for you. You said, "Would I guest host for you?" And that's when you were away is when I was like, "Okay, I see where the promotion could come in." And by the time you came back, Brian's like, "She can't leave," and that's how that.
No, Brian. No, that wasn't it. Brian said.
Here we go.
Brian said, we can't hire her because we only have enough for both of us. And I was like, then we split it 3 ways. He was like, well, you're gonna split your part with her. And I was like,
oh yeah, that did happen.
I said, I'll split my part with her, but you're gonna want to split your part with her too, since it's your fucking party. I was like, whatever money you need because you got a car and you got to pay for gas and shit like that, y'all have at it. I don't really care. We wasn't charging anybody at the door anyway. So by the time we started getting people, I was the one that was like, we need to charge them $5. As reluctant as as Red was to that, because she was like, no, I want to keep it free. I was like, no way, we are dealing with Cielo with the fucking Saturday night Fever floors and shit like that, shiny t-shirts and $18 fucking drinks. We're competing with that. But they wanted to get down and dirty, and they would have their nightcap with us. We're on the way to the bridge. So motherfuckers would have a nightcap over at Soulgasm. And then it kind of picked up because of just Red's constant in your face with the guest list, and she really did a good job in getting the word around and stuff like that. As for the dancers are going to come anyway, because that was just the party to go to. Wednesday night, $5, 2 floors. Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
Then we got the second.
Beat that now. To this day, you can't beat that. You have nothing like that now.
And then we got the second floor, and that's when it was.
Then we got the second, and that's when it fucked. That's when they got all fucked up, because we had the Leopard Lounge.
So good.
Brian would be lucky if motherfuckers even stayed downstairs, because we would stay up there for hours. Leopard Lounge, and there would be full out performances happening right there. There was so much shit that happened in there. I can't say any names. We saw someone get kick fucked one time. So yeah, it was a definite.
I can tell you that person is watching us right now. What up, son? Remember that night?
What's up, homie?
I've heard this story so many times.
Soggy foot.
Oh, that was great.
You can't beat that.
Well, I have a question it says all of you. Okay, this is from Patrick Wilson. And
no relation.
Serge, we're going to begin with you. Patrick Wilson would like to know, was there any segregation? Sorry, it scrolled away. Hold on. Was there any segregation in any of your eras in the scene? That's it, actually.
Was there any segregation?
In your time in the scene? In any eras in the scene? It had to be our time.
So when I first quote unquote went out dancing in Essex County, New Jersey, just for the record, I grew up in Jersey, even though I'm from Queens. I grew up in Essex County. I went to high school in North. I first started going out partying in Essex County. I went to Club 88, stuff like that. And back then, segregation was real. Like, I didn't party with people that were not of Caribbean or African descent. Cool. I started going out on the scene, and it was different. I started seeing people that were groovy of all races. So at that point, that was just it. There was nothing after that. Anything after that was that's just New York for you. And, growing up in a hybrid environment of like Essex County, Jersey, and, New York, you get used to different cultures. So as far as the segregation, I'd say as a dancer, no. Maybe anything, maybe stuff I had to deal with at the door, being a young man with dreads, maybe a little bit of that, but anything beyond that, no. As far as a DJ, I would see a little bit of it, but, I would kind of like need the question to like go a little further to kind of like give anything more than the answer I've already given. I hope that answers it.
What do you mean? You need the question to be juicier? So
juicy. The question that, like what you want me to know? Like,
I need a juicier question so I could squeeze it to the seed.
Yeah, like what you want to know? Like did I get like denied entry because I was
like that? But did you ever have to kiss somebody to get in the club, or did you have to know somebody? You had to like throw up a game.
After parties, yes.
I'd be like Silver Socks, like say fucking.
Well, the thing is that honestly, everybody thought that I was Ejoe's cousin or I was his little brother. So it was nothing that I had to ever deal with.
There was a time when we looked like each other, right?
There was a time when we looked like each other hard. And it was like, yo, me, Kevin Everett, and Ejoe, we was all related.
Oh, man.
I used to be like, yo, Kevin Everett's my cousin. And Ejoe, he's our older brother.
Hey, speaking of Pevin Everett, let me tell you what I don't like about Pevin Everett, man.
Uh-oh.
This
No,
motherfucker right here. No, he would start like doing his own shit and like that, and then he'd be like, Gabrielle Day, and he'd be like, I talked to him. I was like, dude, you're doing a whole medley off of one. I want to hear the actual songs. He would roll through 8 songs on the same version. I don't like that. I feel like I'm in a reggae club.
I thought we were supposed to be brothers.
I'm saying. All right. I'm sorry.
Well, Ejoe, could you give us a kind of short answer on the same question?
What?
Was there any segregation? Yes.
Well, I used to hang out with an all Chinese crew in Chinatown. We used to go to this club called Sidekicks, and I'm lying right now.
I wasn't even sure. I was like, I'm just gonna let him go with this. Just let him go.
My boy, his father my boy, Tommy Chung. His father was the dude that made the best chopsticks in New York City.
I thought you were gonna say violin strings.
Chopstick King. So I hung out with the Chopstick King's son. Son of the Chopstick King. That's what they used to call him.
The son of the Chopstick King.
I call him Ricky.
I'm just gonna go on and say it. At this point, and on that note, I think you should open up another fortune cookie. Let's just do it.
Open up another fortune cookie. Let's keep it China.
Why not?
Chinatown. Let's keep it Chinatown, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our second fortune cookie of the night.
Fortune cookie of the night. All right.
You better be saving the pieces for me. I want them to be
yours. The last one was yours, right?
What's the word we learned in the last one? Sundry.
Sundry.
It means many, a variety.
It means sun-dried, fruit-flavored, edible underwear.
Means
okay.
Vegan jerky.
This one says it's up to you to clarify. Well, there you go.
How about that?
How about that?
I'm starting to think this fortune cookie shit really works, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got 2 things for you guys.
They got it all figured out.
I got 2 things for you.
Salty ass food, and you tell my fortune? Amazing.
Ejoe, don't go away, Ejoe. We'll come back with a different hat because that was one of the things that was requested. Could Ejoe change his hat to answer my question? Boom. Okay, girl, I did that just for you. Miss Brooklyn Iconic, who was on IG and is now on Twitch, so apparently she's also a stalker.
I'll tell her whole government. She told me a text earlier today talking about, stop telling my government.
She wants to know. She wants to know from you guys, what is your favorite song to dance to and your favorite song to play?
Too many songs.
There's only one song that you love to dance to and one song you love to play.
I mean, like,
if you can't answer it, you can't answer it.
How am I feeling? Like, what happened?
I want you to notice that Serge has
hey, you have to clarify. Don't ask me how you're feeling, Serge. You have to clarify. What you could say is maybe it is sundry in a sentence.
I Am Loved by the Jackson 5 that goes into Hum Along and Dance by the Jackson 5. That I can dance to and that I can feel really good about playing. But that's the shit that, I mean, if you play that at the right time with me around, there's gonna be furniture moving. Even if there's no furniture in the fucking place, it's gonna be furniture moving. That does something. That does a lot to me. Le Conquistadors of Chocolate, that does a lot to me. There's a lot of history in that song. There's so many, but I mean, I would say I Am Love. I mean, I Am Love, and to Hum Along and Dance. I mean, really good memories. The Stan Grand with me with that song. Okay. Those 2 songs back to back. For me, Serge? I would say.
You don't have to have an answer, Serge.
Like,
if it's too, I think this is the proper usage of the word. If it's too sundry for you,
no,
you don't have to answer.
That's
No?
not how it works. That's
No.
not how
Yeah.
that word works.
Okay. Well,
You
I'm
can't
learning. I'm learning.
use that word like that.
In terms of dancing, like I'd say songs that really like dance wise, it's really fun. It would have to be like The Couple, um, Baby Be Mine, Michael Jackson. Um, I'd have to say like what's the Johnny Hammond record?
It's
Los
the
Ejoe.
daughters, the galactics.
That was another fun one. I mean, in terms of what else? Laura Alford, I Want to Be Close to You. That was another really good one. There's so many in terms of records that I would play. I mean, if I put on a 13-minute Fela record, I can go to the bathroom and have a good time, shake a couple hands, kiss a couple babies. That's great. So, Zombie was great. You know, in terms of playing, put on a Zombie.
In what order?
I get to take a break. You know, it's like I get to go. You know, talk to the owner and go.
Well, E2, E4, you can jump in the cab and go back home, have breakfast, and come back.
Like, yo, I forgot my needles at home. Let me go home and get some extra records that I forgot to bring.
And come back, and that shit would still be playing.
I think I've got it. Serge just named a sundry of songs.
There you go.
No,
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
I don't know if you're right or not. That's the problem. We need, it's the damn shame Alex should back died because
Damn it, Alex.
call him back.
The Daily Double.
Could have called him to help us out here.
They did.
Okay, next.
Good life, though.
All right, so Ejoe, why don't you tell us one of those stories that you've been trying to tell? I want to hear.
Thank you so very much. I've been waiting all night. I have a bunch of stories here.
Well, pick one.
I'm gonna give you a choice. I'm gonna say
C.
Okay.
C for Cynthia.
A is when I moved when I got in trouble down here and I had to move upstate. And I had to move upstate and deal with real white folks. Hillbilly white. All right. B is the time that I got beat up by Grace Jones and Nels and why I still fear her to this day. And 3 would be like why Tupac didn't like me after he met me on the set of Juice. So which one of those three?
I want to see in the chat.
Ask the people what they want. Which one they want to hear.
I want to ask the people. What do you want to see? A, B, or C?
B or C. They're all funny. They're all fucking. Oh man. Please don't say the Tupac one. I don't want to talk.
I think the people want B.
B?
Frank about Grace Jones.
Grace.
Brian Polite said C, also Tupac. Sibachi said A. Keystar said all of the above.
All right.
Grace in your face. I'm going
to do the Grace. I'm going to do the Grace. Okay.
B. People are saying B. Mama Wise, B.
Okay.
Mama Wise, what's up?
Mama Wise. The girl got lyrics.
Cynthia, Grace Jones fight.
So
Hazel,
okay, so I don't want you to get let me get it right. I don't want you to get it wrong. I want you to think that there was a fight. This is not a fight. Okay. This is as much of a fight as watching the fucking Jets lose every week. This is not a fight. It's a slaughter, right? It's a slaughter. And where are we? I'll tell you. I'll set you up. If you know, if you know the place. Some people don't know the place, but I was in Club Nels, in Nels on 14th Street. A lot of celebrities used to come over to this club. I actually met Prince in the same place on another night. Completely good thing, right? But they had the smallest dance floor. They upstairs. They had like a kind of dinner room with a stage, piano on the stage, and they had dinner there. So basically people would go to dinner performances and stuff like that. Some people would just go there to eat. I heard the food was pretty good. I never really ate there because I never had money to eat food anyplace else but at home. So
Pizza shop.
or breakfast after or breakfast after, which I never had money for, and Ray used to be like, damn man, why don't you ever have any money? Nah, I got you. You know. But yeah, I was there, and it's a small dance room, small dance floor, and I don't know why I was at the club so early. I know there was a night going on, and usually people are, dining upstairs, and then they come downstairs. There was a smoking room as well that was bigger than the dance floor, actually, but the dance floor was there. And because the music was so loud in this small room, there's a curtain just to go through there. And now you're in and they have a small bar over there. So I remember when I got in there, there was just one person, one or two people in there. It was so dark you couldn't really see, but I realized that the lady was, in a very sleek kind of business suit, and a business suit with no shirt. She had like a suit on, but with no shirt. You know how like Aaron Guy used to.
I got a whole visual. I see it very
Like
clearly.
Rachel
I'm assuming there was
But
some kind of shine.
right,
Yeah, me too. Fine skin.
no, but no, it's like it's her tits ain't out, but it's like crossed over, it's double breasted, bam bam.
Yeah,
But you could see that it was all skin here.
yeah.
And yeah, she had shoulder pads that made it look very blocky. So it was like up like that. And she was having a great time, and in and out and stuff like that. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. There's only one person here. And I went over and got a drink, and I started dancing. Once I started dancing, you're dancing and there's only one person on the floor. You don't want to dance with them, but it's not much of a floor anyway. So, she's getting a little wild, and I'm trying to contain, stay out of her way, and stuff like that. And it just happened. I turned and ran right into her. I didn't see her face because she was so dark. All you could see was lipstick and like beautiful perfect teeth. But it was like a skinny, what I thought was a skinny guy. I thought I really thought it was like just a skinny guy in a suit, or gay guy and a smart business suit or something like that. And I started dancing, and I realized because of the lipstick that it was a woman. And I figured, she was like, she wanted to dance. She was like, dance with me. So I was like, okay. And she danced around, and then she kind of pushed me, and I stumbled over, and I was like, okay, I don't know, I'm not gonna pay much attention to that.
Oh, you like it rough, huh?
Yeah, she's like getting kind of rough. And she got, so, she's like grabbing me by my shirt like this. And I turned around like this, to be like, does anybody see how crazy this lady's acting? And she jumped on my back. She didn't jump on my back. She put her arms around me, and I had a button down shirt, and she like pulled it, and the buttons just went like that. So now I'm just like, I'm trying to cover myself, and I'm just getting raped, So I'm like, I go into the bathroom, and I'm fucking mad because my shirt is open, and I don't have a fucking,
You don't have a smart business jacket.
I gotta find my buttons. I was like, I gotta find these fucking buttons now, And I was like, I'm sitting in there, and I was like, fuck, man, fuck. And my friend came in, and they're like, dude. I was like, yeah, you see that shit? That bitch fucking shit. Look at my shirt. Oh, did you see my buttons out there? He was like, you know what that was, right? I was like, that was a fucking crazy person. Look what she did to my shirt. He was like, that was Grace Jones. I was like, what? What? Really? Oh, I tried to run out there because at least I could get a picture, but she was already gone. But she left something. She left a scratch right here to remind me of the time. No, you can't see it now. healed, but she left a scratch there. You know,
She still holds on to your buttons.
how into it she really was. You know, I mean,
Is it official to say that she actually pulled up to your bumper?
she pulled up to my bumper. She got very strong J on me.
She was strong J.
Strong but I mean, it scared the shit out of me because I was like, "What's wrong with this woman? Like, I don't dance this good. She's going crazy. She's almost like, if she could, she would have done a cartwheel in there, you know. But there wasn't that much space.
Like it.
Oh, that was good.
Like it.
That's my Grace Jones. That's my Grace Jones story.
Serge, you got a story for us?
I mean, I got a couple of them. What you want to hear?
You have to clarify.
I got the story that was the night that I figured out that Kevin Hedge was really from Newark. They used to tell me that Kevin Hedge was from Newark, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I used to go to the shelter. You know, he's all mild-mannered. Hey, brother, how you doing? Peace and love. Palmer Brown, blah, blah, blah. I'm hearing all this music, and like, oh, that's Kevin Hedge. Like, oh, he did that with Josh. I'm like, oh, that brother does some real good music, real inspirational. So at some point, somebody said, oh, you know he's from Newark, right? I was like, he ain't from Newark. You know, because meanwhile, I had been going to high school in Newark, you know, hanging out with people from Newark, getting in trouble with people from Newark.
Which is
it's not hard to do.
Easy. Very easy.
Way of life, you know.
No
yeah, you know,
comment.
And one night I was going to the club, and it was obviously past 3 a.m. because I couldn't get in on the Hubert Street side, so I had to get on the Hudson Street side. Oh. So as I'm going in on the Hudson Street side, what's the guy that used to always work security but never had a shirt on? That was Mike July or whatever. Isn't it? What was his name? No, it wasn't Mike July. It was somebody. It was a guy who used to always work security. He would never have a shirt on.
Maybe he always on the floor. Maybe he met Grace Jones too.
Maybe he wasn't really security.
Shit.
I heard he
own the shirt.
In the whole COVID thing, though. What's his name? Mike somebody. I forgot his name. Somebody in the chat probably knows. But anyway, he was kind of like forcing somebody outside of the club, and as he was forcing somebody out of the club, Kevin was following with a bottle, and Kevin was like, yo, I'll kill you, man, and blah, blah, blah. He was cursing all, you know, speaking all type of profanities, and it was literally me that grabbed the bottle out of his hand. I was like, Kevin, you don't want to do this right now. This is not the time. You don't want to do this. And he's looking at me like all crazy, like, ah! And I was just like, just let me in the club. And I got in the club, and I was like, okay. That's when I realized Kevin
that got you in. That's what.
Wait, Serge, what did you say? That's when what?
That's when I realized that Kevin Hedge was from Newark.
So you had clarification.
I got clarification. When I saw Kevin Hedge going after somebody with a bottle outside on Hudson,
really from Newark.
Morning. Yeah, that's when I realized that Kevin was from Newark.
Well, Serge, tell us your other story. Since yours was nice, yours was short. Tell us another story. Tell us your choice B.
I almost killed Pebbles trying to do a back walkover.
Pebbles.
Yeah, so
Pebbles the dancer, people, not the singer, the dancer. Go.
Pebbles was a great dancer, and she was like somebody to look up to, and she was definitely somebody to follow out. She's amazing. She's flexible. She's so graceful. And at this point, Timmy had turned the lights on, so he's playing like the jazz and all that other stuff, and I tried to do like a back walkover, and at the time I didn't really have a back walkover over that well, and I didn't realize that Pebbles was, she was going to do that whole Pebbles thing where she kind of slides underneath you while you're doing the back walkover. Mm-hmm. So I didn't make it over on the back walkover, so I kind of got halfway over and my feet came down.
You're always doing your shit halfway, man.
I know, but at the time I was really halfway. I wasn't together, so I ended up landing. My feet landed on Pebbles' back, and she was like, "Ah!" and I didn't hear her. I tried again. I was like, I'm gonna get over this time. And I didn't get over. And she was like, ah. And at that point, it was like, I hit it twice. And I tried again. And it was like, ah. So I had tried to do a back walk over 3 times. And I basically stomped on Pebbles' back.
Oh, God.
Couldn't get out the way. She was like, I think I almost paralyzed her. But
I just want to hear the sound effects again.
Pebbles was strong. Pebbles was
stronger. I just want to hear the sound effects again. Ah!
Pebbles was stronger than you think. She had like 5 kids.
I know, but I think that I may have contributed to her not having sex. And the music was so loud. The music was so loud. Either that or at least number 4 or number 5
Music
got
was
a
so
little bit of brain
loud.
damage. I remember her stomach was really flat back then. So maybe it was like between 4 and 5 or 3 and 4. I don't know. But
God.
no disrespect. I'm sorry. And thank you for
It's
how to really do it back.
y'all ain't shit, and I think it's just absolutely wonderful. It's
Because
absolutely
after that, I stopped
these
messing up
things
my
that
back
happen at the club.
I stopped messing up my back vocals.
Well, I've got a question for you. This is my new question that I have put into our bedtime stories. And the question is, what is your guilty pleasure? There are no rules. There is no genre. There is no, what is your guilty pleasure?
Yo, Crocodile Dundee gonna have to go first, yo.
Guilty pleasure. No, when you say guilty, you don't mean nasty enough.
Whatever you think that you want to share with us.
A guilty pleasure? Something I can't get enough of?
I didn't say all that. I told you what the question was.
I'm trying to work out the answer through.
All right, well, you know.
Through the sundry of the question.
See, look at us. Look at us.
Okay. So, guilty pleasure. I really like the half an hour after you go swimming and the warm water that comes out of your ear. It's like, you know, that's a guilty pleasure. Or even going after it, like right up at the top of the ear, where you can only touch with a Q-tip, and your eyes start flipping back like the old pinball machines and shit, like a cling, 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 you know. That's a guilty pleasure for me. It's something that just comes to mind right now.
That is a very real and understandable answer. Serge?
My guilty pleasure is getting a massage at the places where they have the bars that are attached to the ceiling, and you get a massage therapist that's between the weight of 120 pounds to about 145 to 150 pounds, and she walks up and down your back and puts the full weight of her body into certain parts of your back, and it's just nothing like it.
And you feel guilty about this?
I do.
You should.
Is there any release involved?
There's a lot of release, and it's always noisy. I always have to tip more because I make these.
Are you talking about like the Chinese people massages?
I mean, since you said it, yes.
I've been there, Serge. I know those ladies.
And then they have to put me.
There's nothing like getting a foot massage by a Chinese lady that don't like giving foot massages. That's like this. And you're like, ooh, she's like, no, she don't like her job, you know. We do it.
My guilty pleasure is that's my guilty pleasure.
All right.
You want one more?
I ain't feeling guilty about that at all. Shit.
Tiny
There's
bit.
a guilty pleasure. The fucking banana pudding with the fucking Nilla wafers is a guilty pleasure of mine. That and
wait, right when it just start to get soggy.
When it gets soggy and the cookie is it's just a little bit crunchy on the inside.
Not really a cookie. It's not really a cookie.
Not really a cookie.
It's a wafer.
You can't call it a cookie.
It's a wafer.
You can't call it. It's called a wafer.
But at that point, it's really a wafer.
Hey, let me just give a shout out to Linden's who make butter crunch cookies. Best cookies in the world.
The butter crunch.
Hands down.
Which ones?
Butter crunch.
Butter crunch.
Butter crunch cookies are the best cookie you ever had. You could stand up against any one of those other cookies. Those fucking Milanos, the Pepperidge Farm, and all that shit. It's all about butter crunch.
Shout out to Linden's. You could buy them when you're in high school, in the school.
That should get you through school too.
Hell yeah.
You get through class, you be like, yo, soon as I get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna get a butter crunch cookie, and I want to use that time to reflect. I'm gonna reflect on this class I'm not passing because I'm thinking about cookies all the fucking time.
Wow. I have a question for you. Well, this is not really a question. This is just fun. I've been trying to pay attention to the both of you while we've been chatting, and I'm going to now, I want to take a guess at how many hats each of you has put on. Ejoe, I think I counted 6.
One wasn't a hat.
One was what? What was it?
Oh, a shower cap.
Okay. All right. If you want to be technical. 6 changes. Now, Serge, I think I saw with you 4.
I mean, it's just like the dance. It kind of comes off the dome, so I can't really tell you what I did, yo. You might as well Tony Bones out this motherfucker. I don't know.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, Sin, do you have any more questions?
Of course, I have more questions. I want to know about like your dream person that you would want to work with. I always want to know this. Who is like a dream person and what it would be the capacity in which you work with them?
I want to get a phone call at 4:00 in the morning, and I want somebody to tell me, listen, Janet Jackson is going to come over in 20 minutes. I want that phone call. I want somebody to be like, listen, I know you think it's not real, but Janet is on her way over to your studio. Get everything warmed up. She likes her tea 85 degrees with a little bit of honey. Just get it ready. And her and I, we work on a record till about 7:30 in the morning. Around 7:30, her limo comes, picks her up, takes her back to a hotel. And then that evening, I send her a copy, and she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the next thing you know, we just
some buddies.
Got a record. We just making music together. So I would say Janet Jackson. But it has to be a 4 a.m. phone call, because if it was Janet Jackson like in the middle of the day, it wouldn't have the same effect.
Okay, why? Because you'd be like waking up out of a dream. Oh my God, Janet Jackson's calling.
It's something about that record that she did. Anytime, any place.
Yeah.
I don't care who's around. After that, like it's got to be the 4 a.m. phone call. So Janet Jackson on a 4 a.m.
All right.
I would love to work with Michaela Coel.
Who?
She was in this. She's a British writer, actress.
What's the name?
Could you say her name again?
Michaela. It's. You want me to spell it?
No, just say it again.
I
couldn't hear you the first time.
It's Michaela Coel or Michael.
Okay. Michaela Coel.
Well, she's in a really good show called I May Destroy You. And she's a British actress, writer, poet.
I know her.
Personally, I always wanted to act. I never really wanted to be a dancer as much as I wanted to act and be in movies and play characters and stuff like that. But you know, you follow your road and you do what can be done. I think that I've done so much as a dancer. I would love. I mean, there's always time for me to act, but I think that I would never be able to stop dancing because of how much it means to me, how much it means to people. I'm proud of the fact that I've changed a couple of people, or I've given them incentive to be dancers, and some of them were different kinds of dancers, and I, upon coming to my classes and stuff like that, they've changed their style, or the dancing has changed their style. They've opened up their spectrum of movement has opened,
Having seen you performed on stage as a comedian for the first time a couple nights ago, it was amazing to see
You did.
like you totally be yourself as a comedian and as like a human with a personality, and then late in your routine you started to incorporate a little bit of dance, and it was just like it was refreshing. It was really like
Yeah,
wow.
it's hard to
He was
get
able to bring the full
hard to
spectrum.
be physical when I'm so stiff. These two were at my real first performance, and
Which two? These two?
these two,
I was there.
these two,
Her and her?
Two. These two.
these
These
two
two?
girls. They were there. They got to see my first comedy performance, and I mean, I was
How did you do your first time?
I don't know. Ask them.
I was gonna say I can answer. I thought he was great. And I told him that he should do it more.
Well, you could just be saying that.
I
right?
thought he was great.
No, I don't. I
thought he
love you. I love you, so I'm not gonna just say that.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's comedy is it's a challenge because a lot of it has to do with confidence. If you're not confident enough to think that the stuff that you're saying is funny, I mean, sometimes you can have something that's not necessarily funny, and you can make it funny with just the voice or the pantomime or the acting. There's always room to make something funny. I would love to be funny. I really would. You know, I would love to think that I was actually funny. And some people think I do. I think looking funny is easier than
So
being.
what is it that you've learned from your experience in the dance world that has helped you in comedy?
Well, I'm not afraid. You know, like you know how some people have butterflies. I get excited like right before I get on stage. It's almost like a surge of I it's almost like an addiction. I need it. I need to perform. So it's probably why I'm performing with you guys all the time, because I'm such a performer. It's like I don't mean to do it. You know, I don't mean to be performing, but I'm probably trying out new material subconsciously and not even realizing I'm doing it.
I have a question for both of you. If there was something that you could do that you would do to like have yourself be remembered after you were gone, what would it be? Like, what would you want to do to be able to make yourself be known? Like, you want to be known for something after you're gone. What do you want to be known for?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know, like I really somewhere around the time that Quentin started to pop off as a producer, I really said to myself, wow, he's making these amazing records. I want to make records too. But then I had to really dig deep, and I really realized that like I wanted better DJ gigs, because like standing in front of a crowd of people, hundreds of people, and being able to either A, make a mistake, or B, play the right record and have the whole room just vibrate at a frequency that I could vibe to was just thrilling to me. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to be that DJ. But then I started to realize like, wow, I need to produce records in order to do that. So somewhere along the line where I started producing records, I realized that, oh my gosh, this is so much fun working with artists and creating something that didn't exist. So if I wanted to be remembered for something, I want to be remembered as that guy that you could sit down with in a studio and create something that didn't exist before. And it's that certain relationship that I have with my artists and people that work with me. Sometimes for the first time, it's just that fear and that excitement, and that sometimes that feeling of the unknown as to, are we going to make something that is going to work, that's going to be dope, that's artistic, that I can be proud of, or even just that's memorable, you know? Like I try to you know, look at art and art that I create as something that is not needing approval or needing to be validated. But if you ask me how I want to be remembered, I definitely want to be remembered as that guy that you could be creative with, that person that you could sit down in a room and create something that didn't exist before with.
I like it.
I like it too.
All right, blah, 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 blah.
No, stop that, sir. That was a wonderful moment, sir.
That was great.
Wonderful.
I don't know what to say after that. Like to make my own weed. What do you say after all that shit?
Hey yo,
Yeah, like I don't know, make my own weed.
Well, people, I'm
I
gonna
would
be
like
the one.
I would like a kid. I would like to have I would like or would have liked to have a son or a daughter. That's probably one of the only regrets that I
do you
have.
check your voicemail often?
Huh?
Do you check your voicemail often?
My voicemail?
You might have one, you just don't know.
That's funny. Yeah.
Get to busting some nuts. I'm sorry. That was horrible.
It was. Y'all ain't shit.
Yeah, y'all say that because y'all got kids.
Well,
I'm right. No.
people, it's getting late.
Okay, it's been a
And it is
smooth move.
almost bedtime.
Nah,
We have to do this again one day.
it can't be over. It can't be
Well,
over.
especially since it took us so long to get you here, Ejoe.
Well, I
You're
mean,
here for me.
well, understand that when you asked me before, I was going through a bit of a
I do. I understand.
family crisis,
I gotta.
and I wasn't in the right state of mind to. I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling good.
I totally understand, but
I can relate, brother.
wouldn't be your sister if I didn't give you a little bit of grief.
Yeah,
I want to commend you on is your transparency, because you know you have a tremendous ability to put out what you're feeling into the world, and you know, good or bad, you're able to just deal with that. And I say to myself, wow, how can I be like that? I can't be that vulnerable. And in some ways, that vulnerability, I think, is what makes you a dope artist.
thank you so much. I think that you really have to. In Japanese, they say kangai sugi. And what kangai sugi means, it means you think too much. I think that you can sit back and relax and let things happen as they may. You don't have to force things. You will get that phone call. I don't want you to wait for that phone call, but you're gonna get it anyway. As you think about it, you speak it into existence, and then let the chips fall where they may.
I know, because Janet Jackson is right outside.
She is. Hey, she blew me a kiss. She blew me a kiss.
He-
She blew me a kiss at when I hit Cielo, and I walked past. And dude, I walked in the booth and he was like, "Yeah, nigga, you walk past Janet like that?" I was like, "Janet who, nigga?" He was like, "Janet Jackson." I said, "Where?" I turned around, she was right there. I was like, and she blew me a kiss, and I was like, "It's fucking over for all of y'all right now. I'm fucking kill this shit." I mean,
and now
I was playing like I was trying to get a birthday gig. I was really, I was proud of my set. I was proud that she was there. I wasn't even mad that Tony kicked me off after 45 minutes. He was like, "All right, you were here late anyway." I was like, "Okay, I got it." You know, I could, and I was a professional. I didn't go over and talk to Janet. That's all that I needed. That's all I needed.
I went and talked to her. I was like, "Janet, I just want you to know you got a Puerto Rican flunky right here." I swear, she was so gracious. She was like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, what if she wasn't? She was like, "What, bitch?
You're like,
Get out of here!
"Don't give me a drink."
With me and shit." Like,
I mean, she had goons. She had goons with her though, so
she had goons with her. She had goons. She had dancers.
Goons.
She had dancers that was like, and that's Ejoe. That's the one I was talking about. I want him.
All right, guys, I'm gonna try it again. Tonight we have gotten clarification on a sundry of subjects.
Oh wow!
That doesn't feel right.
I hope
All right, I'm gonna.
I think that's right. I think that is the proper usage. Go for it, Ejoe. Our final fortune cookie of the evening.
I'm gonna open the last fortune cookie. This is gonna be it's crumbs. This should be a. There should be a theme that you
This
work
is our
on.
final. This is our final note for the evening.
Yeah, there should be a theme that you work on every time you have us.
Hats and cookies.
Or maybe you said, yeah,
Cookies and hats. That should be a party.
cookies and hats.
Cookies and hats.
So, you know what's fun? You know what's funny? Simpsons did it.
They did everything. They did everything.
Simpsons probably did it already.
They did everything. They did the election. They did all that.
Well, they are forciers.
All right, ready? Here you go.
Okay. Final of the night. An expert is someone that knows so much about so little. An expert is one that knows so much about so little. An expert is one that knows so much about so little.
I mean,
Got it. I got it.
You know, I used to do this thing with the fortune cookies that every time you say the fortune, you have to say the words "in bed" after, right? So
Wait, I gotta read all these fortunes now. Okay. Let your social instincts off the leash and talk to all and sundry.
in bed.
In bed.
I don't know if that
Now,
works.
Allow
Yes.
passion to guide your decisions.
in bed.
All right. It's up to you to clarify. In
In
bed.
bed.
All right.
guys, this has been bedtime stories.
Yes.
In bed.
It's time to get
In bed.
In bed.
Thank you, everybody. It's 12:12.
Time for you to lay.
That's
12 being said by 12.
Just said by 12, and that's the toll bell right there. I think we've done it all. The government's going to come to shut us down now.
Yeah, I hope we
Thank you, everyone who joined us.
So much.
Love all of you guys.
And good and entertaining
Ejoe,
and
Serge,
insightful.
and Ejoe, and
Yes.
to Red.
Thank you for a fantastic evening, guys. I had a good time.
Thank you for all the people that hung out with us. Vicky, Denise, Kim Lightfoot, Mina Love. You've been commenting, but I don't know who you are. Who are
and
you, Mina Love? What's your name?
I have online classes that
Oh, good night.
come to my online classes.
Yo, plug it.
Okay.
Dance
Well,
with
now,
me
what do you
at
have? What are you
home.
guys working on? You want us to know about quickly?
Yes.
You just got online classes. Go, Ejoe.
I got online classes Monday and Wednesday from 2:40 p.m. to 4 o'clock. 2:40 p.m. Monday and Wednesday at Perry Dance, starting at 2:40 p.m. Tuesday at EXPG at 6:40 p.m. and also 2 late night classes on Thursday and Friday right here at Sibo's studio, and that starts at 8:40. With those classes, you can just send $15 to PayPal, and I will send you the link to the class 10 minutes before the class, and come and dance with your boy. I'm also going to do a slow and a sexy Sunday class that is for all ages. So that means the big girls and the children, you can dance with your kids and come out and have a good time, and you'll be able to dance with me at least 6 days a week. I need a day for myself though. Okay.
Okay. And Serge, you got anything coming up that we should know about?
Y'all could just buy my music online.
Yeah, buy his music.
Oh, tell us where.
Like Bamboo, BAMBOO, sounds.bandcamp.com, or like you could Google me. My name is DJ Serge. That's gonna be SERGENEGRI at whatever. But you can find me on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, TrackSource, all those good outlets. And then Ejoe's gonna play a little guitar to sing us out because we had a little song that we worked on.
Yeah, little baby.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome, girl.
No.
it.
I have to do some practice. So I'm just getting my bass out for practice after.
No.
Okay, wait. Before y'all start this song, get it together. We're gonna
not
say
doing
goodnight.
a song. We're
Why
going
not? You
out.
can play us out. Me and Sen are gonna say goodnight right now. You gonna play us out.
I'm not that good yet.
You don't have to be that good. It's just you announced it. Ladies and gentlemen, good night and thank you for hanging out with us. My
Good
name
night,
is Red,
everybody.
and that is
Rose, and thank you for joining us for Bedtime Stories. And
tonight we got a special pleasure of having Ejoe and Serge play us out.
Bye, y'all. I love all of y'all. I will speak to y'all later. Yes.
All right, let's
That's
go.
how you do it.
Do it.
Oh shit. Wait.
I should pull out my guitar.
Skibbity beep bop chop chop deep top but I'll take it away.
It's the best time.
All right. Well, you know what? This and that is for the next one. So stay tuned, everybody. I hope to see everybody really soon. Maybe this is gonna happen on a song one day.
Skibbity beep bop, you know I'm ready to do my beep bop bow. Just give me a reason.
I love y'all. See y'all later.
Love you guys. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
And good night.
Good night.
And night, and night, night, and a night, and night, night.